Hello and welcome to another episode of Retail Media Thursdays. My name is Michelle Owen, I'm EVP of Marketing at Sky, and today I'm in the Big Apple with Anthony from Deep Indian Kitchen. Anthony, welcome to Retail Media Thursdays.
Awesome, so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself and your role at Deep Indian Kitchen?
Sure, yeah. I am the Director of Growth Marketing at Deep Indian Kitchen, and really just trying to position ourselves in the digital landscape, and it's really exciting with great food.
Yes, I'm very disappointed I've not had time to try it while I've been here, to be honest, and you don't sell in the UK, unfortunately.
Not yet.
Not yet, oh.
I don't know.
Sneak peek.
Well, I wish.
Spoiler.
I mean, just more retail space for me to conquer, but not yet.
So what's been your peak of the week, personally or professionally?
So busy week for us. We had quarterly in person, so all the team members were in from sales, ops, and everything, and it was just great to see everyone come together and hang out. Of course, you know, just realign on all of our objectives this year. It's going to be another busy year.
It's so great to have that FaceTime. I've just had it with my team in New York this week and it's been brilliant.
It's so great to see all the new hires and just see everyone just integrate so well. We have such a great team, so it just makes it coming together just so much more meaningful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And which pub are we in and why did you choose it?
Well, I think that this is a perfect spot to be in. In New York, it's a little more low-key, but it's also very close to Soho shopping, so if you have any free time later, maybe we could stop by and pick up a few things. Okay,
so let's get onto the retail media side of things. How has Deep Indian Kitchen's approach to retail media evolved over the last few years?
So we rebranded from Tandoor Chef about, 5 or 6 years ago now at this point. And after the rebrand, our distribution was low, but we started really expanding and leaning into Instacart, which synergistically that worked out really well in terms of the pandemic and how people were shopping. As we leaned in, you know, obviously we saw great growth, and with Instacart's expanding reach, especially at that time, it just enabled us to really drive that trial so that people were exposed to us little by little, and then from there distribution just increased, and it's been a fantastic ride of, you know, delving into the multitude of retail media networks that are out there now. In fact, I saw a meme the other day that said, you know, the Oprah, you get a retail media network, you get a retail media network. And it was the funniest thing because I didn't even have to make it. It was already there. Slapped it into PowerPoint and called it a presentation.
It's so true though, there are so many. How as a brand do you go about tackling that in terms of how you're thinking about which retailers to work with, how to allocate your budgets? It's
actually really exciting too, because you could tell which retailers are really leaning in and leveraging those audiences that they have great access to. It's a little bit of identifying where our consumers are and where our potential is great. So identifying what consumers are around, how we can approach them, what, you know, ad inventory that is out there, but also what's really great about my role and working with these retail media networks is the data access points that we do get. You know, how are people approaching it? Are they purchasing it online? Are they, you know, picking up in store? Is it their first time purchase or is it a repeat purchase? And, you know, the ability to target that really helps us cultivate that story of consumers and segment them and really drive that forward for the brand. And it's been really fun. It's a great challenge to have of how do we approach the market and approach the consumer.
Yeah, and I guess as you think about those consumers, right, they're everywhere and they're looking online, they're on all these different channels. How do you think about the kind of the brand aspects and the performance aspects of retail media? Do you keep them separate or are you treating it all as kind of one now?
It is kind of all on one note to a certain degree. Obviously with some ad space you don't get as much branding as you would like. However, our packaging does a lot of the work for us, which is great. You know, you see one of our packs and you know that it's Deep Indian Kitchen, it's powerful, it's impactful, it's bright, it's vibrant. So there's definitely a story in that enables a little bit more of that brand personality to convey through just even, you know, a search ad, right? So that is really helpful because honestly, that's a huge lift I don't have to undertake. But it's always nice to have a little bit more of our brand personality in our content, whether it's just, you know, a quick little tagline, but something that really pulls in our audience and draws them to, you know, the frozen aisle and global flavors, really get them to try and expand their palates.
So what KPIs do you focus on, and how do those align to kind of the overall business goals?
Oh, all of the KPIs all the time. Coming from
everything.
Yeah, everything all the time all at once. It's funny coming from, agency world, you always yelled at clients for having too many KPIs simultaneously, and now that I'm brand side, I'm like, we do need all of the KPIs.
Yeah.
But predominantly, and that's where working with retail media networks is really fantastic. Leveraging their data, I think, has been really impactful. So not only identifying, what ROAS is or Halo, going forward a little bit more, identifying incrementality, I think, is really important, or new to brand, percent new to brand. And then for us, another one that's really interesting is OPD, online pickup and delivery. Just because when you're talking about grocery and retail, there's a multitude of different types of grocery stores and places that we sell. And obviously there's ever increasing amount of e-commerce that's happening. And typically when you're looking at grocery, your online basket size is bigger than your in-store one, which is compelling for retailers. Obviously, if you're driving that forward a little bit more, they're more compelled to, take on more products and see that you're actually putting forth that effort. So it's a balance of a few different KPIs for sure.
Very good. So as you're thinking about all of those different KPIs, I guess in the past you've had shopper teams and you've had your performance teams who sit very kind of separate in an organization, but are you starting to see kind of a lot more collaboration between those teams and how they're working together, and even how you're thinking about kind of measurement across the two?
Now we actually have dedicated people, but coming from a smaller organization, you had to wear multiple hats at once simultaneously. But with a lot of the evolution that's happening in the space, it definitely converges quite a bit, where there's shopper marketing that has been a little bit more isolated versus now this ever-growing retail media network. It's expanding and it's really just evolving the space. So now that you are able to have more ad space, have more promotional content that's focused around retailers. So it is just definitely converging in a lot of different ways. And now you can track a bit more shopper marketing metrics, which is really enabling, growth marketing, performance marketing to kind of work more in tandem and kind of be under the same umbrella as shopper marketing. It's been really fantastic. It's a really exciting time to see capabilities just expand, and there's always been overlap, but now it's even more prevalent.
Yeah, you mentioned there it's expanding. Where's this going to go in the future? What innovations are you most excited about at D&D and Kitchen?
I'm always excited about our new products. We have a lot that are launching this year, so you have to keep a lookout. Next time you pop through, we have our momos, our Indian dumplings. So those are amazing. We actually, since we had everyone in office, we got to sample all the new ones that are coming out. Definitely worth a check out. But when it comes to, the evolution of the space, I think what I'm really excited about is that impact in store, and that really invaluable media space. There's different opportunities like with Instacart and Caper Carts that we're testing right now, that you're able to put display media on a shopping cart at any retailer would be fantastic, telling people to try chicken tikka masala or a chicken curry,
Yeah.
Or, what you're seeing at Walmart, their evolution is great. They're testing so many different types of displays in their flagships in Canada, and, a lift to learn kind of display where you're able to give a little bit more information to the consumer in store, or how, a consumer can kind of look at reviews, which is actually very impactful, right on a display or on their phone in store is a great way to ensure that this is the appropriate purchase or the right purchase for a consumer, is really helpful for us. So as we're evolving, it's great to see that impact kind of stretch in store a little bit further.
I feel like it's come full circle, right? Once upon a time, retail media was all in store, and then nowadays, obviously, it went online, and then we've kind of gone back to the store, and we're looking at these experiential. We were just talking about experiences before we started filming, and I think as marketers, it's so exciting, kind of some of the opportunities now that the store presents.
I know, and it should be interesting to see how it's tested, and I think Walmart had a stat that 77 or 80 some odd percent of their test shoppers really enjoyed and preferred the digital displays in store because it was informative and really compelling. Now, I mean, it's going to be definitely a test throughout, so it doesn't feel like you're in Times Square and there's just ads everywhere. Yeah. But I think having that appropriate balance is going to be a little bit difficult, but very impactful and helpful for the consumer to identify, you know, if they want a product or not.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very impactful for our like global flavors aisle. You know, there's a lot of options out there, but it's definitely going to be a little bit more compelling when, you know, you see Indian food versus any other, and, you know, hopefully people will give it a try.
Well, I'm excited about trying your products. Definitely next time
I'm
over.
Today.
I know, that would have been great. So my favourite part of the show is always our quick fire round. I did warn you I wasn't going to be nice, but I'll be honest, I've not been mean. I've not been mean at all with this one. So what piece of advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
Ooh, good question. I think just have fun with it in all aspects and just really pursue all the things that you find interesting, the creativity of things, and the creativity of numbers and data is actually a nerdy aspect of myself that I didn't see happening at all. I was like, I want to be a creative. I want to do graphic design, and then here I am in a very analytical, data-driven role, and I would not recognize myself, I don't think.
So your advice should have probably been like, join the stock market. You really like numbers.
I mean, yeah, and learn Excel fast.
So that brings me on to my next question. If you weren't doing this job, what would you be doing?
Many different things. I would have really liked to be an artist. Yeah, it would have been really great just to paint all the time. I do try sometimes, but you know, free time, who has that?
Never, nobody anymore. What was the last thing you bought online?
Oh gosh. What is the last thing? Oh, okay. This is great. So it was my partner's birthday, and he is a character. I bought him Pokemon cards.
Oh!
He's a collector. So that was the last thing I bought online.
I was obsessed with Pokemon Go when it came out. You couldn't get me off it. I joined a whole community in my neighborhood, and I think I was the only girl. It was great. What was the last question you asked ChatGPT?
Oh gosh, how to respond to interview questions for a podcast, obviously. No, I use ChatGPT a lot, so it's been great. This past week, I actually used it for a bit of research, just in terms of the space, and you know, definitely a useful tool for sure. You're
gonna like our announcement next week if you're a fan of ChatGPT.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, it will be out by the time this comes out, so it won't be a surprise anymore, but it's exciting things coming.
I'm gonna be living in the past in this podcast.
You really are. If you could invent anything to make your life easier, what would it be?
I wish I could teleport. So whatever teleporting machine, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Just take me to Hawaii, where it's somewhere warm for a little while as we sit in New York and it's freezing outside. So definitely that.
Yeah, I could do with that tonight. Just take me back to London.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's been great meeting you. Thank you so much for coming down to Manhattan and chatting to me. I've really enjoyed it.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.